hey, didn't see you there. Welcome back. Or if you're new, hi, what's up? This is The Swamp. It's our podcast. The Swamp is an acronym.
Stands for some Whack-Ass Movie Podcasting.
My name is Dara, and as always, I'm here with my beautiful, wonderful, lovely, and talented co-host.
I'm Emily. How's it going, guys?
And we're really I'm excited to talk to you guys about Okja today. It's our next installment of Paul Mano month, which is it's such a bad pun. Some of you have been sending in your bad actor puns for the future, and they're just so bad. I love them. Please keep them coming. And just themes for future months, as always, suggestions. We love it. But all Paul Dano movies in this beautiful month of May. And today we're talking about Okja, which is one of my faves of all time. And I know I mentioned this a little bit last week, but this was really one of the blossoming moments where I think we discovered that we had this sort of compatibility to do a podcast was when over the pandemic we would this was not a compatible moment.
I was gonna say, no, this instance was not one where we were like, oh, hey, this is working. This is something's here. Because, I think, okay, what would happen was, it was, over the pandemic, we'd get on FaceTime, we'd, press play on a movie at the same time sort of thing. We did this with, I don't know, I can't remember what else, but we definitely did it with, Portrait. We did it with Portrait of a Lady on Fire and, maybe one other movie or something like that. And Dara hits me up one day and she's like, oh, we should watch Okja tonight. I was like, okay, never seen it. I knew it was one of your favorites. And I think it was maybe about 10 minutes into the movie that you were that you were clocked, just absolutely out, because I think you told me you were like, yeah, I drank a bottle of wine with my father, and then you had a bottle of rum in your bed to watch this.
It was deep pandemic. You couldn't even step outside your house pandemic.
Yeah, we were 2 months into it. It was probably around, it was definitely around this time, actually.
Yeah. And I did just have a bottle of Bacardi on my bedside table that I was like, you know what? You gotta do what you gotta do, right? And so, but yeah, I remember being like, this will be fun. And then literally chugging rum from the bottle. And then I think it was about the time Jake Gyllenhaal showed up that I was just clocked, and you were like, do I say something? Do I hang out?
I stayed on. I stayed on with you for the entire movie. Because I was like, what if she wakes up?
Oh my god. But our little video FaceTimes with movies was sort of our first oh, this is a thing we should, I don't know, talk about and let people listen to us. Then you've had all those themed movie parties where I feel you and I just talk through the whole movie and everyone's like, will you two shut up? And I'm like, no, we're doing our podcast.
We're cackling in the corner like witches.
Yeah. But yeah, Okja, this is just I don't know, a very core memory for me about the pandemic is falling asleep on FaceTime with you while watching Okja. I don't know why. But this is one of my favorite movies, and it's I don't know, it's just such an interesting mix of the fact that it's a Netflix original, the fact that it was never released in theaters, that it's sort of bilingual. It's directed by Bong Joon-ho, who later did Parasite, which I had no idea who he was, or I love Snowpiercer as well. And at the time of viewing Okja, I had no clue that this was the same person who made Snowpiercer, or it wasn't until after Parasite that I kind of became aware of who he was and his body of work. I'm like, oh my god, he made these other movies that I absolutely love. Of course, that makes so much sense. But I think I watched this movie right around when it came out in 2017 on Netflix, because one of my closest friends, she was a vegan for a really long time, and she was super into this, and she was like, you have to watch this movie with me. It's the greatest thing ever. And I was like, okay, vegan propaganda. But then I watched it and I was crying.
Yeah.
And so your history with this is just that I made you watch it and I fell asleep on FaceTime with you, right?
Yeah, that was my entire interaction with the movie. That was the first time I ever watched it. But I did really enjoy it, and I still really enjoyed it this time. I watched it with my roommate who had yet to see it. And he made the remark that it definitely has the same sort of feel as a Studio Ghibli movie. But actually live action. The big, I don't want to say I don't know, like mystical sort of element of it, and like a
Yeah.
super pig and everything
yeah.
like that, and just this wild adventure and everything like that. But I mean, so I think that's one of the reasons why I really like it, because I love Ghibli movies.
It's very My Neighbor Totoro.
Exactly,
like, for
exactly.
Sure. It's, yeah.
Okja even has like the Totoro teeth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which maybe not the Totoro teeth, but like Okja has American Girl doll teeth.
Oh my Okja is like objectively not that cute. Like the little beady eyes, and like I mean, as a whole, as a character, very adorable, love. But just like objectively, those super pigs are not cute animals, in my opinion. They're a little scary. They're like a cross between like a hippo and just it's the human eyes for me. Okja has human eyes. It's like when a dog has human eyes.
It's like oh my god, yeah, no. It's a lot. I dog sit dogs that look like that, and they just
when it looks like the soul of a human is trapped inside a dog, and I'm like, what spell? Like, what did you do for a witch to put a curse on you to turn you into a golden doodle? Like, what?
Yeah, no. Okja gives me like you say hippo, like Okja has the entire face of a manatee.
Oh yeah, manatee is very
it's
solid.
I always thought it was so weird that they call them super pigs, and I'm like, I guess like I guess, but I'm looking at them like the only pig thing about Okja is like the hooves, maybe
that you can eat it,
or that you can eat it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the whole point was, like, that if they called them, like, you know, hippo manatees, no one would want to eat that. And the whole thing was, like, a big food GMO PR thing, so, like, calling it a pig made people want to eat it more,
fair enough.
I guess. But yeah, it's not very pig-like.
But, like, at the same time, while she's not the cutest, I would also, I could definitely see myself forming an intense connection to this very large, cuddly animal.
I would die for Okja.
The one scene that really got me, like, from the jump is, like, you see... Oh, God, what's the main character's name? Besides Okja?
Mija, M-I-J-A.
Mija?
Mija? Yeah.
But you see her and Okja, like, establishing a relationship and everything like that, and, like, they're, like, playing in the mountains and all that shit. Okja literally saves her life in the most, like, sick and awesome way, but, like... I love that that's how they established, like, oh, this creature is so incredibly smart and also so capable of, like, such, like, insane amounts of love and all that shit. But the scene that really got me was, like, pretty immediately after that, watching, like, her and Okja basically, like, spoon together. Like, she goes to cuddle with Okja, like, in the middle of the night sort of thing. And I was just sitting there, I'm like, yeah, okay, like, Bong Joon-ho gets it. Like, this is what I do with my dog. And immediately I'm like, shit, I know I'm gonna cry at this movie. But I do have a quick question for you, because I know you are not someone that grew up with animals, and these your two lovely little cats, Winston and Bean, are like basically the first animals you've had, correct? Does this movie hit differently, like, watching it, like, before having animals and, like, now having, like, these two little creatures that you would, like, kill for?
Yes. So, like, growing up, everyone in my family, except for me, is, like, severely allergic to animal fur, so we never had any pets growing up or anything, or we were just, like, never really around animals a lot, so it's, like... And then when you grow up without pets... As, like, an adult who had never had pets, it's always, like, you don't really know how to interact with dogs, or it's always, like, you know, like, I like them, and it's cute, but it's just, like, awkward because you don't know. And, like, now that I have pets, it's so different. My cat Winston sat in my lap during the last probably 30 minutes of this movie, and I cried. I just sobbed, because it was just so... nice and endearing to have an animal, like, cuddling me during the most intense parts of this movie. I was, like, getting so emotional about it. So, yes, absolutely having it. Because, I mean, you know through other people and through media, like, what it's like to have that, like, love connection, like, with an animal. But, like, I say to my cats, I say, I would jump in front of a bus for you. I say that every day to them. When they're being obnoxious, I say, stop fighting. I would die for you. Yeah, I don't know, being an adult who's, like, recently gotten pets, definitely a different viewing experience. For sure. But I do love, so like the very opening scenes of this movie is Tilda Swinton in adult braces giving her like scary
oh my god,
super
the
pig.
adult braces representation. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a movie do it except for this.
Right? And so she finishes giving her like scary PR super pig contest speech, and then it hard cuts to Okja with Mija in the wilderness, just being, and that whole basically up until then when Jake Gyllenhaal shows up to be obnoxious. That whole opening sequence of like she jumps and helps her get fish, and like it like establishing not only their relationship but like how smart this animal is, which is the point of the whole movie. It's that they're breeding them to kill them, but you can see how intelligent and like worthy of life they are, basically. But that whole opening sequence, yeah, is very Ghibli to me, and I think it's my favorite of the whole movie. Is just that like the two of them establishing their bond when she saves her. And she falls, and you're like, oh my god, Okja fucking died. And she didn't, because she's fucking huge, and she just falls into the trees, and it doesn't matter. But it's such brilliant filmmaking to me, and it's so intentional. Because, like, you see, you know, the look in her eyes that you're like, oh, that's, like, more than an animal. That's, like, that there's intelligence behind her eyes, basically. And that's the part of this movie that really gets me, and that I think is just so smart.
Yeah. And, like, I mean, just the way that, like, she talks to Okja, basically, and then, like, finally, sort of at the end of the movie, like, you see, like, like, it's not like Okja talks to her, but, like, Okja basically, like, talks to her and everything like that, which is such, like, one of those things, like, you just get, like, if you have an animal and everything like that. Because you see it, like, throughout the entire film, it's, like, she's, like, whispering, are you looking endearingly at your cats right now? Like, even, like, if you're not talking to your animals, like, you can still talk to your animals. Like, do you meow at your cats?
Yes, Henry and I we go meow, and that's how we get them to like pay attention to us. But even I do speak to them. We sing to them. I was never the kind of person who like when I'm by myself would ever like talk out loud to myself. Like that's just not or like sing or do any. I don't know, if I'm alone by myself, I'm just doing my thing or whatever. And now that I have animals, I'm like narrating their lives. I'm asking them questions. I'm singing songs about them. My favorite thing to do is just put my cat's names into like whatever song I can think of. And so it's just like such a different experience now, like being alone in my apartment, because I'm like, I'm talking, I'm singing, I'm like, oh, this is something I've never done before. But like now that I have these animals, it's like spurred me on to be like, oh, hey, what are you doing? You want to follow me to the bathroom?
How are you? How was your day?
Yeah.
But do we want to give a brief recap of this movie?
Yeah, the briefest recap ever is that it's like Charlotte's Web goes sci-fi, basically. It's like an intelligent animal that's gonna get killed, and one young girl's mission to stop that animal from getting killed through the power of political activism, right? And that's like Charlotte's Web. But basically, I would say that the Mirando Corporation is Tilda Swinton's company. It was her father's, and then it was her older sister's, who then stepped down, so now she's stepping up, and her whole thing is that they're going to be breeding these super pigs, and that they're going to send, what is it, like 10 of them or whatever? 30 of them? Some number out, all to different parts of the world to see which is the most effective way to raise these animals, and then at the end, they're going to crown one of them as, like, the best super pig. But meanwhile, also, these pigs will be raised for consumption, and the whole thing is that they're more eco-friendly, it's greener, they make less waste, and that this is going to be some big environmental revolutionary, like, livestock thing. And then we obviously cut to Okja, the titular Okja, if you will, who is in South Korea with her owner, Mija, who is, I'm going to say she's like 12. She's like a 12-year-old girl, probably.
I'd say like between like 12 and like 15.
Really? I would say more between, like, 11 and 14.
Fair enough.
she's a young preteen girl.
Okay.
Basically. And her parents are dead. Her and her grandpa, they live in South Korea, basically just kind of, like, up in the mountains in the wilderness. And their whole thing is that they just kind of let Okja run around and be friends with this young girl, and they go on little adventures, and they go fishing together, and it's very cute, and it's very, like, a pet owner relationship. It's not like Okja doesn't feel like their livestock, you know? Okja is like their dog, basically. And the grandpa has been kind of lying to her about, he's like, oh, we're gonna buy the pig back from these people so we can keep it, but that's not really true. And the people come because they're like, this pig is part of this competition, so we need to like check on its stats and its data, and it has to come to New York with us for this big like parade, basically for the unveiling of the super pig. And Mija's like, what the fuck? That's my dog. Like, that's my golden retriever right there. Like, what are you doing? And they come to take her away. And Jake Gyllenhaal, who's acting like a fucking cracked out Steve Irwin. Basically, he's like, I am a TV host who knows about science. But he's like talking this like squeaky we can delve into this performance from Jake Gyllenhaal, but
there's a lot to talk about.
He's doing the absolute most here. But basically, Mija basically realizes like, oh, they're gonna take Okja away, and they do, and then she's like, fuck you, Grandpa, I'm taking this golden pig, which is like her dowry, basically. She's like, I'm taking the golden pig, I'm taking all this money that I've stashed away, and I'm gonna go run after Okja. And she's fucking badassery jumping onto the back of trucks and like ninja fucking rolling and ducking through traffic. It's wild, and she's
doing the most.
But fortunately for her, she's aided by the Animal Liberation Front, led by our own Paul Dano, who's playing the character Jay, which basically the Animal Liberation Front, or the ALF, they have this plan to stop the truck and also get Okja. And they stop the truck and they kidnap Okja, and they switch out the cameras, and they get Mija too, basically. And there's this whole like scene where they do a romp through like an airport or like a shopping mall basically, or something. Yeah. This whole big fight scene between like them and a bunch of security guards and the police and everything. Basically, they get Okja. And Paul Dano explains, like, our whole mission is that we want to stop animal cruelty, but also our larger goal here is to, like, expose sort of this, like, corporate abuse of animals. So we were gonna take Okja's black box out of her ear, which tracks all of her data, and put in a camera so that they could get this information to expose the Miranda Corporation, basically. But Steven Yeun's character, whose name is K, I think, just the letter K, he mistranslates on purpose what Paul Dano is saying, and basically makes it seem like Mija's giving her consent to all of this, when really she's like, no, I just want to take Okja home. So Paul Dano's, everyone else isn't really, like, understanding that she isn't really down with all this, and so they go through with the plan. They send Okja back to the Miranda Corporation, and they're filming everything that's happening, which is like she gets pretty violently bred by another super pig. They like take little samples out of her to like try for food. Very just like heavy on the visual animal abuse. I was pretty shocked that this movie's rated PG-13, to be honest, because they swear kind of a lot in it, and there's, like, pretty violent animal, like, upsetting animal abuse scenes in it. And
yeah, there was a handful of scenes that were really tough to watch.
In my opinion, yeah. And then, basically, Tilda Swinton does some PR bullshit, and it's like, we're gonna spin this whole thing about, like, reuniting this young girl and her favorite pet at our big parade, and we'll crown Okja as the super pig, because it'll be, like, this really moving story that'll really boost our PR thing. But at this parade that they have, the ALF projects the footage of Okja getting abused, so the whole thing is obviously a huge disaster for the Miranda Corporation, but they totally get exposed, and so then Tilda Swinton has to step down to, who? Also Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton.
She plays a twin of herself, and basically this other, more evil corporate Tilda Swinton comes in and is like, continue to roll out the jerky plan, basically. Just, like, continue to turn these pigs into meat, which is basically when it gets revealed to us that this whole sending 10... I mean, it's, like, pretty implied through the whole thing, but this whole sending 10 super pigs to different farms around the world to pick the best one was a huge, like, PR setup, while they basically had thousands and thousands of these pigs in slaughterhouses already being like set up to be turned into food, so that the moment they crowned the super pig, they could sort of roll out this big meat production plant, essentially. And so then they go to the slaughterhouse to find Okja, and Mija, basically, she finds Okja, and they're like, kill her anyways, and she's like, no, I have this golden pig, and so she buys Okja back, because they're like, yeah, sure, like, run it. That the little golden pigs, like, we have thousands more of these super pigs, so, like, who cares? So she gets to take Okja home, and the ALF all gets arrested for all of their, you know, tomfoolery and their crimes. And basically at the very end, one of the other pigs who's behind barbed wire pushes the little baby out, and Okja snatches it up in her mouth, and then they go back to South Korea, and then it's Okja with the baby Okja and Mija, and they're just, like, living their life, but, like, obviously the whole thing is still fucked, because, like, nothing actually got
fixed.
Yeah, like, put an end to, and that's obviously such a big, and very Bong Joon-ho style. It's, you know, a huge political criticism, well, not political, but it's just like a societal criticism on, like, how fucked the meatpacking industry and American consumption and greed and corporate greed and all that. So
it was really, I mean, like, my joy definitely, like, picked up on it, like, last time I watched this. But it's like, you're sitting there and you're like, oh yeah, this is how people see America. And you're like, oh yeah, this is rightfully how they see this is America. Yeah. This is exactly what we do.
Yep. It's crazy because the Mirando, so they're calling it the Mirando Corporation, and it's just, like, so wildly, like, I love how blunt Bong Joon-ho is with his filmmaking of, like, yes, this is the thing that's fucked, and this is the thing that is fucked, and I'm gonna point it out to you, and you're gonna fucking see it, right? Like, like, and so the Monsanto Corporation in America is a GMO agrochemical company. So Monsanto Corporation, Mirando Corporation, like, he's not pulling any punches with that.
Oh, no.
Naming corporation there. And they were the ones who, they do, like, insecticides and DDTs, and they created Agent Orange for the Vietnam War. But most notably, they do, like, bovine growth hormone, like, really, basically why GMO is, like, a big questionable issue in America is, like, because of this one corporation who's, like, literally inventing ways to do, like, agrochemical warfare. Like, it's fucked up. But they also, like, dump all of their waste, biochemical, any movie or thing you see about something that's a company that's dumping biochemical waste into local water sources and it being an issue, like, that's about Monsanto. So it's just, like, yeah, it's this big, obvious, like, huge Fortune 500 American company that just is so obviously being parodied here.
I watching this, I didn't realize that it was Bong Joon-ho. And obviously, like, I don't think no, because I watched this after my Parasite had come out, and I had seen Parasite and all that stuff, but, like, this was the first time, like, I was like, oh shit, this is Bong Joon-ho, and be like, oh shit, yeah, this is Bong Joon-ho. This makes so much sense.
And it's pretty hard to spot, because he looks a little different, like, they kind of style him up differently, but the bus driver, or, like, the truck driver in this movie, you know, the sassy little truck driver who's like, I don't give a fuck about the Mirando Corporation, he's like, he, like, drives the truck, that's the brother from Parasite.
Oh, shit, yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, it's just an actor, so it wouldn't have carried over, but that was something I picked up on this time. I'm like, why does that guy look familiar to me? I'm like, oh, yeah, he's the brother from Parasite, so.
See, the one that sticks out to me in this movie, and he's barely in it, and I think the only reason I even realized it was because, like, when we first watched this, I think you jumped the gun and you said, you will never believe who's in this, which is the guy that plays Roderick.
Yes!
From Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
There are so many jump scares in this movie. Like, the first one is Tilda Swinton in braces, and then it only goes up from there. Then it's, like, Jake Gyllenhaal speaking, like, which is, like, what the fuck? And then it's also, like, Lily Collins, what the fuck? Roderick from Diary of a Wimpy Kid, total jump scare. For me this time around, it was Lucy Mirando's annoying assistant, the one with the voice like
Moaning Myrtle.
Moaning Myrtle. I was like, what do I know that voice from? I was like, what is this? I was like, that's Moaning Myrtle. For me, it was Moaning Myrtle jump scare this time. But yeah, just like like Giancarlo Esposito from Breaking Bad, he is like plays like an evil corporate guy. Like, it's just,
of course,
so many like weird left field famous people are in this movie, and I fucking love it.
It's an insanely just stacked cast. Do we want to jump into Paul Dano in this? 'Cause
yes.
we talked about it a little bit. I think that this is just Paul Dano at his hottest, really.
Okay, if anyone's gonna... So for some reason, like, the girlies on TikTok have been thirsty about Paul Dano after the Batman movie, and, like, that is the least hot he's ever been. Him as the Riddler, like, no. Pass.
Not cute.
Hard pass. I'm like, y'all are being thirsty about Paul Dano, and no one is focusing on the character Jay from Okja. Like, if you're gonna be allowed to
Literally.
be... If you're gonna thirst over a Paul Dano character ever, this is the one. Like, this is the one.
Yeah, no, him... Even fucking sneaking into the room as a bellboy, popping out from behind the curtain.
It's so good.
Something about him strictly wearing like just like the bare minimum like suit. You know what I mean? At all times.
It's so good.
Amazing.
But his kind eyes and his like, we are the ALF and I'm going to speak so softly and so kindly to you. Yes, Paul Dano, give it to me. And I love how he's like, we do no harm, and they like apologize while they're like rampaging through trying to save this animal. They're like, to everyone, they're like apologizing, and then when Steven Yeun mistranslates, he beats the shit out of him. He said, translation is sacred. He pounds him. I love that. I love that part of this movie. Paul Dano, I love him in everything. We know this. This is why we're focusing a whole month on this, but I especially love him in this.
His character does kind of give me... It's like Timothée Chalamet in Lady Bird vibes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. I was like trying so hard for the last like 30 seconds when you were speaking. I was like, I know it's something. He connects somewhere in this universe.
No, it's like a certain level of like pretentiousness, but it's like, you're not wrong, but like, can you chill out a little bit, please?
Yeah, tone it down. I'm begging you.
Right.
Yeah. It's really tough, though, seeing him on screen next to Steven Yeun, too, because you're like... Oh,
I love him, too. I love that man. Everything...
My pants are just off when I watch this movie. Like, this is like a movie that's, like, pretty hard to watch and, like, very upsetting at times. And then I just find myself distracted because I'm sitting here and I'm like, Paul Dano, Steven Yeun, oh my god.
Jake Gyllenhaal, why am I still attracted to you? Like, is this a me issue? But, no, I love his trajectory for success that we've kind of been seeing in the past handful of years. Like, he kind of started out doing Walking Dead, right? That's like, but like now with like, I don't know, big Oscar-y type stuff like Minari, and everything he's in, I consume it and I love it, and I want to see him just like become the star I know he deserves to be. He's really one of my like favorite to watch. Like everything new that he's in,
he's so fun.
Really excites me. Yeah, another performance in this movie that I was like, oh, I literally forgot he was even in this. Like,
right?
That whole like the whole ALF crew is like so fucking like bizarre to me.
I forgot Jake Gyllenhaal was in this. Genuinely. And then he comes shrieking up a mountain, and I was like, oh my god.
It's giving Mr. Music.
That's really all you need to say.
Is his Mr. Music from John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Bunch when he just, like, rolls up and starts, like, fucking... I think that this is just how he is, and they just let him on set. And, like, him doing good performances is him doing it with, like, a lot of restraint. And this is like, nah, man, just run. You can just be yourself with this one.
Yeah.
Which it is, like, I think a lot of people's criticism of this movie is that some of the performances are a little, like, not obnoxious per se, but just more, like, outlandish or, like, too much. Because Tilda Swinton is doing a lot, too, with her character. Like,
she does make me want to crawl out of my skin.
Yeah. Like, she's doing the most. Even, like, Paul Dano's kind of hamming it up compared to what he usually does. But especially Jake Gyllenhaal. But, like, that's kind of what I like about this movie is that there's not
that's what I think is, like,
it's intentional.
Warranted and, like, wanted. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, they wouldn't have put it into the movie if that's not exactly what they fucking wanted.
Yeah, and I think it's, like...
Like, it's supposed to be big and theatrical.
And I'm never bored. I'm like, I don't care that he's, like, shrieking. And, like, I love what, at one point, he, like, pulls up some stats on an iPad, and then he just throws it on the ground next to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why do I love that so much? Like, it's just, he's just being, like, obnoxious and over the top. And honestly, I like to see it from him because it, just, like, why not? You know, I'm like, have a little fun with it. Not every movie has to be giving, like, serious, emotional, truthful performances. Like, things can be silly, you know?
Well, I think it's warranted in this movie, too, because, like, you have, like, these insane, like you said, outlandish and just goofy at times performances and everything like that. And then you're seeing, like, stone cold, like, brutal animal abuse.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I need, like, sorry, but I need to see Jake Gyllenhaal screeching so that I can have well, to just balance it out. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, if it was all, like, totally serious, like, zoned in performances, I don't think I could bear to watch this movie, like, a second time, honestly, because it is really hard to watch, like, at certain points. So, like, yeah, Tilda Swinton in the adult braces and Jake screaming. Like, I can understand why people were, like, not super pleased about it, but, like,
I don't know. I think just, like, maybe don't take things too seriously. But one of the reasons why I love this movie so much is just, like, my first ever viewing experience of it was a friend being like, oh, I saw this and I enjoyed it and we should watch it, you know? And I was like, okay. And I went in knowing nothing. And then, like, to my surprise, all of my favorite things, like Jake Gyllenhaal and Paul Dano, like those are my boyfriends. Like, that's, yes. And then...
Your brother husbands.
My brother husbands, and then Tilda Swinton. I have this personal obsession of movies where someone plays a twin of themselves. Like, why does that tickle me so much? Armie Hammer as the Winklevoss twins, Lindsay Lohan as herself in Parent Trap. Like, any self-twin moment. Why do I love it? I just do. And Tilda Swinton with adult braces playing, like, chaotic, corporate greed, evil twin sisters. Like, why is that just the most perfect thing? I love it. I absolutely love it. So it's the first time I ever watched this movie being hit with all that at once. I was like, oh shit, this is the greatest movie ever made. Like, like no doubt.
Yeah, no, it is outstanding. I think she does give a great performance. I just love Tilda. And I feel like a lot of her stuff is, like, pretty serious and zoned in. So, like, seeing her, like, on the spectrum that she is for this performance is really interesting. Also, I just love the fucking attention to, like, I feel like a lot of the times, like you're talking, like, Lindsay Lohan in The Parent Trap, or, like, Armie Hammer's, like, twins. I feel like you get to see a lot of, like, twins that are very much, like, sort of in the same vein, and, like, you're like, oh, they're twins and everything like that. And with this, like, Tilda Swinton really just got to play two characters.
Yeah.
It's not like it was, like, two different iterations of the same character. It's like, no, these are two different characters, like, and obviously, like, you can see it in, like, the way that she plays and but, like, my favorite thing was, like, the tiny little, like, details and everything like that. Like, the hair is kind of the same, but it's not even close to the same, and, like, all that shit. And, like, they both have a lisp, but one's, like, really, like, frilly and annoying, and the other one's, like,
back of the throat.
Yeah, back of the throat. Don't pay attention to my lisp. And, like, even, like, just visually, like, they give them, like, a pink cigarette and, like, this green cigarette and all that shit. It's so cool and it's so good. And I just have to imagine that she had an absolute blast with that, because, like, who wouldn't?
Right. No, and I know there's, like, a lot of really great pictures of Paul Dano standing next to Bong Joon-ho while, like, filming this movie or whatever, of, like looking at the script together and stuff, and I feel like everyone just must have had fun with this, right? They're like Jake Gyllenhaal, you get to just, like, scream, like, just like, do whatever the fuck you want, right? And the young girl who plays Mija, I think her name is An Sao-yeon, fucking brilliant. Brilliant performance by a young actress, because she is, like, the emotional and moral center of this movie. And her agency is so strong. She is such a strong lead, such a strong female lead in this movie, of, like, she has her mind set on something and it never wavers. And she just, like, does the thing she has to do. And I think that performance from such a young person, she was so serious, right? Everyone around her is fucking ridiculous. And she was serious as fuck this whole movie. She's like, I don't give a shit about anything other than saving my pet. And that's, I don't know, I have a lot of admiration for the filmmaking in that way, because I think there were moments where, like, she could have been, like, the butt of a joke or something, you know? But, like, she never was. And
No.
I don't know, just with everyone around her being so flamboyant, I love how grounded she was
Yeah.
through the whole movie. And yeah, such a great performance, too, because I fucking believed that she would do anything for that animal.
Yeah.
Like...
Fuck the precocious, like, 13-year-old. Like, give me more of Mija.
Like, pissed. Like
Like,
pissed
I wanna
and
see-
determined. Yeah.
I wanna see a fucking angry 12-year-old.
Right? With, like, no regard for their own life or anyone else's. Just, like, this one thing. Yeah, I love it. And that's why, like, this... I mean, she isn't a child. I do think she was 13 when she did this. So, I mean, like, I guess child actor.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think she was born in 2004. I think
Shit.
she's 18. She's 18 now, so she was around 12 or 13 when she did this. But it feels so... I mean, not adult.
It feels like an adult performance.
Yeah, like the level of what it's giving me is because, well, also it's not because she's not like somebody's kid sister. Like, she's our protagonist. So
Yeah.
it does feel very more like that. But no, she was so fucking good. Oh my gosh! Wow, who is it that has showed up halfway through the show? It's Jen. Oh, this is so unexpected. She's here. As always, to host our interim halfway through segment, Chocolate or Vanilla. It's a game. Jen, she comes here. She's here. She's gonna ask us 2 questions. We all say which one we like better. Ah, so fun. Jen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm alright.
Decent.
I wanted to thank you guys for my intro music.
Oh, yeah, I'm working on, like, changing some editing things, so hopefully the quality has improved a little bit, and if anyone noticed, some, listener suggested a while ago, they're like, yeah, your transitions are super awkward, so you should maybe put a little music before and after, and I was like, you know what, I love the honesty, so I tried a little harp intro for Jen, so let me know if any of y'all find, like, royalty-free sounds that would sound really good before and after Chocolate or Vanilla, please send them my way. Like
I was thinking,
Yeah, who's writing us a song for Chocolate or Vanilla?
oh man, I was thinking I was gonna get some badass like air horn or something, you know, like
Pew, 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 pew.
yeah, exactly. But I got like the one you gave me makes me feel like an angel.
Yeah, I did like
You
a little
are
harp,
an
but
angel,
that's
Jen.
Oh, thank you, Emily.
I did get some like but I was like, that's too aggressive. I was like, we gotta ease in with a nice harp sound. So.
I would like to think that, like, you're, like, a good, like, mellow midpoint in the show, where, like, all the rest of it is, like, Dara and me, like, screaming back and forth at each other. So I think Dara, I think you were right for the harp.
Thank you. I appreciate the harp music. Yeah, but there is a theme. Did you already ask me that? Because there is a theme.
Yeah, I'm asking you now, Jen, what's the theme?
The theme is pets in movies and TV. And credit goes out to CJ and tired_girl36.
From
Both of them-
Instagram. Yes.
Both of them suggested this.
Yes, which is
At
great.
separate times.
I'm gonna keep trying to put these up on Instagram, and at the end of Chocolate or Vanilla, there'll be a little thing. A lot of you have sent in really good ones, and I always send them to Jen, so definitely keep those coming in if you see it on Instagram. So
Yeah, thank
Chocolate or
you
Vanilla
so much.
themes.
Thank you. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes,
Chocolate or vanilla?
chocolate,
Vanilla.
Chocolate. Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
chocolate.
Vanilla.
Chocolate. Okja or Babe, Pig in the City?
Oh, you stole. So at the end of the show, when we have to pick what movie to follow up, I was gonna say Babe, Big Pig in the City, because that's just what Okja is. But I do think Okja had a more substantial impact on my life than Babe 2, Big Pig in the City. So
I've actually never seen Babe, so I will have to go with Okja.
I will also go with Okja. She's so cute. Oh my god. Airbud or Marley from Marley and Me?
it's gotta be Airbud, because one of those dogs can play basketball and the other one just dies. So
One of those dogs can play basketball, and then the other one can make my father cry, which is the first time I've ever seen him cry. So,
Oh.
I guess I'll go with Airbud though, because I mean, a dog playing basketball. Like, come on.
Yeah, me too for Air Bud. I think they had sequels of Air Bud where he played like different sports too, right?
They had like,
Then there were the
Air
The
Buddies.
Air Buddies.
Yes.
And did you know the sporty one is voiced by the kid from Booksmart, Jared from Booksmart, who's also in Righteous Gemstones, he like jump scare pops up in things, and I love him. I don't know that actor's name, but
I know
you
who
know
you're
the kid
talking
who wears a
about.
t-shirt of himself in Booksmart? Yeah, he
Love
voiced
him.
one of the Air Buddies. It was one of his. So fun trivia fact if anyone cares.
His breakout role.
His breakout role, yeah. The next one is two Disney pets: Jenny's cat Oliver from Oliver, or Penny's dog Bolt from Bolt.
Oliver, like Oliver and Company Oliver?
Yeah.
Oh, then yeah, absolutely. Oliver and Company. Billy Joel did the music for that movie. Chef's kiss.
I have no idea what either of these movies are. Is Bolt the animated one?
Bolt is
They're all
animated, and
animated.
it's voiced by John Travolta, and his owner Penny is voiced by Miley Cyrus.
Oh yeah, I have to choose that one. If it's a dog voiced by John Travolta, of course.
I'm definitely gonna go with Oliver because Erin used to love that movie when she was little, so we watched it many, many times.
Yeah, that was like a VHS tape staple in our house. You've never seen Oliver and Company, the little orange tabby cat who sings Billy Joel?
No.
No?
It's like a retelling of Oliver Twist, but with like cats and dogs. Super cute. Huey Lewis and the News do some of the music too. It's really good.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll have to watch it now, but no, I never saw it as a child.
you totally should. Nymeria, Arya's direwolf, or Ghost, Jon Snow's direwolf from Game of Thrones.
Oh, it's definitely gotta be... both of them are really good, but Nymeria just like leaves in the first season, then we don't see her again until she's like feral in the last season, whereas fucking Ghost is there every episode, literally kicking ass and saving lives. And he like fought in all the battles. That's like the best dog. I don't know. Out of all the direwolves, I think his is the best. Like if you were to make me pick out of all of them, just as far as like, you know, loyalty, relevance.
Yeah, I went with the two that were living.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually gonna go with Nymeria. I like that she ran away and just went a little crazy. I can get behind that for her.
This is tough, but I guess I'm going to take Ghost. Next one is two black cats. We got Gigi from Kiki's Delivery Service, or Salem, the talking cat from Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
I have a little stuffed animal of Gigi over on my bookshelf because I need my cats to have like representation in film. And so I need to like watch media with black cats in it so that my cats can feel like seen. And that's the little stuffed animal we have. I like to have that around for them. So as an owner of two black cats, this is very tough, but it's Gigi from, I did a Kiki's Delivery Service cosplay once and I had the little stuffed cat. It was very authentic. It was very cute.
Have you seen their confidence noticeably go up since you've brought black cat representation into your house, or?
Well, just from the beginning, I feel like black cats are like demonized by the media as being like bad luck or something, and they don't get adopted. Like when I adopted my cats, they like waived all the fees because they're like, yeah, no one wants black cats because they like don't think they're cute and they don't like want like bad omens in their house or whatever.
I think there's some
so,
of the
like, yeah, we
cutest
like
cats.
it. Right, and so I was like, oh my god, I was like, yes, and so I'm like, we need more positive black cat, even though I feel like that, yeah, Salem, right, but I guess there's like witchy associations, which isn't always true, but I guess these are two witch-based black cat mediums, so stereotyping continues.
I'm gonna have to go with Salem on this one, just because I definitely grew up watching Sabrina.
Nice. I'll take Gigi. Next one is Scooby-Doo or Snoopy.
Ooh. I feel like Scooby-Doo's more involved. Like, Snoopy's off on his own, doing his own thing with Woodstock, and Charlie Brown's off doing his own thing, whereas, like, Scooby-Doo's, like, in it. He's, like, in the thick of it, solving the mysteries. So, I gotta pick Scooby-Doo.
I'm gonna have to go with Snoopy on this one. I like how removed he is, and that he's living his own life. He's, like, off, like, fighting the Red Baron and all that shit, and you would never know it. He comes back and he just lays down. He's living a double life, which I kind of love, so I'll have to go with Snoopy.
I will take Scooby-Doo. Next one is John Wick's Pitbull or Bruiser, Elle's Chihuahua from Legally Blonde.
Oh, definitely Bruiser. I've actually never seen any of the John Wick movies, which is, like, I feel like a lot of people would tell me to watch them, and I just have never, ever gotten around to it. And at this point, there's, like, 10 of them, right? I'm like, I can't...
There's at
4?
least- yeah.
3?
Yeah.
3.
Oh.
That's mad.
Oh, I'm being so dramatic then. That's really not that many.
It's because you're thinking of, it's that, and then Mission Impossible, and then The Bourne Identity, and they all clump into one movie, basically. Or, like, like one entire, like, they're all the same movie. But, like, that's why it's like,
true.
oh, they're like, you're like, oh, there's 10 of them.
That's so not true.
I've never seen one of them,
Bruiser.
but...
Yeah, me either. No Bourne Identities, no Fast and Furiouses, no John Wicks, none of it. I do not engage. So, but definitely Bruiser, because I've seen Legally Blonde 1 and 2. So.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you can do this, because doesn't John Wick's dog, isn't the entire thing of it that the dog gets killed?
The first dog, the little beagle, gets killed, but then the pit bull takes his place. Almost pivotal character.
Okay,
definitely.
I was gonna say, because if I have to pick, like, a dead dog over a living dog, I'll have to, like, go for the dead one, because that's just sad.
Yeah.
But I don't care. But, like, if the pit bull's, like, his sidekick, don't care. So I'll go for Bruiser.
All right, I'm gonna take John Wick's pit bull, which has no name. So,
What? A dog with no name?
He gave him no name.
It's called Dog.
Okay, next one is Pikachu, Squirtle, or Jigglypuff.
Well, okay.
Interesting that you went for Jigglypuff, because isn't it, like, what's the third one that's, like, baseline?
Well, so if in the games... it depends. You always just get a fire, a water, and a grass type to start. But the ones I played, or I guess the standard, like from the OGs are Charmander,
Squirtle,
and
Pikachu, right?
Pikachu.
No, not Pikachu. That's why Ash Ketchum is special, because he gets Pikachu because he's special. But the third one is the grass type, Bulbasaur.
Oh, yeah.
So those are, but from the TV show, yeah, Pikachu's obviously special. Obviously, I'm gonna pick Pikachu. But my favorite from the show was always Meowth, because he could talk, he could speak English, which just, like, inherently made him far more interesting of a character than any of the Pokemon who couldn't talk.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll pick Pikachu. But I was always a water type bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I always picked, like, the games I played the most, Piplup was the one. The little penguin, that was, like, the one that
He was your guy. I hardly ever played the games and hardly ever watched the show. But I also remember being partial to, like, the water types. I collected the cards. So I'll go for Squirtle on this one.
All right, I'm gonna take Jigglypuff because she's so cute. I thought you guys were gonna give me a hard time because are they really pets? But I thought they were, so I added them.
Yeah, I would say yes.
They serve a companion purpose.
Next one is Sisu, the dragon from Raya and the Last Dragon, or Toothless, the dragon from How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, How to Train Your Dragon is just overall, I think, a superior piece of media and series. I thought Raya and the Last Dragon was, like, fine, and it was cute. And it was very notably my first theater-going experience post-COVID.
Same.
Yeah, which was, like... I don't know why that, like, really, I don't know why that's, I think I just was, like, willing to see anything, but only at, like, Wednesday at noon, like, out in the sticks, like, by myself. So I was like, yeah, I guess I'll see Raya and the Last Dragon. But it was just okay. But definitely, as far as, like, kids' movies that I think really hold up under adult viewing, I do think the How to Train Your Dragon movies are pretty good, like, for rewatch as an adult. So... I'll pick those. Yeah.
So was Sisu the one that was voiced by Awkwafina?
Yes.
Yeah, she took me out of it. So for that reason, I'm gonna go for Toothless.
You didn't think she did a good job?
I think she did a decent job. It was just like Awkwafina is like, I don't know how else to put it, but besides it's like, oh, that's Awkwafina. You know what I mean? Like, it's very obvious, like voice acting wise, you're like, oh yeah, that's you.
Like almost distracting kind of thing. Yeah, I get you. Yeah. I'm also gonna take Toothless and shout out to Neil, Aaron's brother Neil. Loved that series when he was a kid. Maybe he still does. Yeah. So Charlotte from Charlotte's Web or Gary the Snail from SpongeBob?
Easy money.
Charlotte. I'm gonna say Charlotte. I mean, She was literate. She was doing political activism. What was Gary doing? Nothing.
I beg to differ.
All he goes is meow. Meow. No.
I'm with Gary. Maybe he just played a bigger role in my life, but I always think back to, like, what is it? The SpongeBob episode where he's like jumping dreams and everything like that, and Gary is like a person in a cloak, you know what I mean?
Yes, like in the library.
Yeah, like that's who Gary is to me.
I'm gonna take Charlotte. Next one is Rex from Isle of the Dogs or Doug the dog from Up.
I feel like maybe Doug from Up is like more like a humorous standout character, whereas Isle of Dogs, they're all dogs. Like, there's so many dogs in that movie. It's like not special that one of them's a dog, you know? So I really love Up. I feel like just because I had to watch it in academic settings so many times, I never got to watch Up like just for fun. It was always like, let's break down the stages of grief by watching a Pixar movie, you know? But I think as a movie, I prefer Isle of Dogs, but I'll pick Doug he gave me that 11 in the morning psychology class pick me up that I just needed while writing my paper about the stages of grief.
I've actually never seen Up. I think I've talked about this before probably because I never took a psych class in high school. I've never seen Isle of Dogs either, though. The only connection that I have to either movie is watching the intro for Up and just sobbing. So I guess if I was to watch it, I would need something to drag me out of my deep, dark depression after the first 10 minutes of the movie. So I'll go for Doug.
I'll take Doug for the sweep. Next one is Warhorse or Black Stallion.
I fucking hate, okay, first of all, I'm sorry if anybody out there really loves horses, but just, like, horse girls never were nice to me, and horse media always traumatized me, because I was in a fucking book club, and some horse girl made us read Warhorse, and Jen said, you can't go to the meeting and hang out with your friends if you don't read the book, and I said, I'm not reading this stupid horse book, and the day before, all my friends were talking about, like, oh, what are we gonna do at book club, and I was like, ugh, fine, I'll read the book, so I sat in a chair for, like, 4 straight hours, and I read Warhorse so that Jen would let me go to the stupid book club, and I fucking hated that shit because it was about a horse that goes to war. What 4th grade girl wants to read about that? Not me. What's the other one? Black
Stallion.
Black Beauty.
Black Stallion.
Yeah, I picked that one because I fucking hated Warhorse. Fucking hated that shit.
I poked the bear with that one.
Yeah,
you knew what you were doing.
That was intentional.
I'm actually gonna choose Warhorse on this because I know it's been, like, adapted to the stage a lot, and I think the puppetry for that looks super interesting and just super well done. And I don't know Black Stallion at all, so I'll go for Warhorse.
Nice. I'll take Black Stallion.
Seabiscuit, stupid. Secretariat, stupid. I'm sorry. I hate horse media.
The only one that I feel like I know is, like, Black Beauty or whatever, because that's a whole other one. Or what's that one? There was an animated one about.
No, Spirit. Spirit's the only one.
Yeah,
Spirit is a good one.
Spirit. Oh. Wait, I take it back. I respect one horse, and it's Spirit.
Next one is another triple. All from Harry Potter: Fluffy the Three-Headed Dog, Hedwig, or Scabbers.
I gotta go with probably Hedwig on this one because he was just like a real one. Actually, yeah, but it's kind of fucked up that they were doing like magic on those animals. Like, where are we drawing the line for animal rights in the wizarding world? You know, so. Scabbers is the rat.
The one that turns out to be, what's his name?
Like Peter.
Yeah,
Pettigrew.
Peter Pettigrew.
Oh,
yeah.
Why would I ever choose him? I'll go for the 3-headed dog because he was just doing his job. He just guarding that door.
Good point.
He did nothing wrong.
I'll go with them. I agree with Emily. Fluffy. Next one is Stitch or the Beast from Sandlot.
Oh, pretty recently, I have a friend who adopted a little French bulldog, and he wanted to name it Stitch, but his sister who paid for the dog for him was like, I will get you this dog under one condition, that you don't name it Stitch. And I'm like, that would be such a cute name for a little French bulldog. Stitch? That's what he looks like. He looks like a little Frenchie. But I think they named him Jersey instead, which is like fine. But Stitch, a little French bulldog named Stitch, that's so cute. But I'll pick Stitch. I'll pick Stitch.
Yeah, I'll go for Stitch. I just feel like the Beast didn't have, like... Obviously, he had, like, a big, like, plot in the movie, but, like, he didn't really make that much of an impression. Stitch, though, he was the whole driving force.
Yeah, same. I'll take Stitch for the sweep. I love both those movies, though. Next one is Toto or Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Wasn't the new Clifford movie, like, a total flop, and didn't it have, like, cop propaganda in it or something? I didn't see it, but all I knew is that they did like a live action Clifford movie and it was like really problematic for some reason. I don't know, don't quote me on that. Toto's reliable. Toto's there. Toto's present. I'll pick Toto.
Yeah. Toto's just, I mean, he's just going on a little adventure. Does he really do anything? No. Is he along for a ride? Yeah. I would also like to be carried around in a basket like that, so Toto.
I'll go Toto also. Last one, it's a triple. Drogon, Rhaegal, or Viserion.
Oh, the three dragons.
From Game of Thrones, yeah.
I don't remember the order in which they perish, but I know Drogon is the favorite one because he's named after Khal Drogo, so I guess I'll pick that one because I feel like he was always like getting the most screen time, you know?
Yeah, I think it was... What was it? Like, Viserion is the one that I think got turned into, like, the ice dragon or whatever. And then I can't remember what happened to the other one. How'd the other one die?
I just... shot.
By one of the boats.
Blown to pieces. Yeah, I guess I'll go for Drogon. I don't know. Like, yeah, neither of the other ones did anything for me. It's like they're there. Oh, no, because... Oh, what is it? Because Rhaegal's the one that Jon Snow rode.
Right, because
that was like the one that was like
her brother. Right,
yeah.
that was his dad.
Yeah.
That show was wild.
Yeah, I guess I'll still go for Drogon. Are you gonna watch the new show?
Yeah. Oh, I probably will.
I think I will too.
Why not? I love to consume media, you know? And I love to complain, so even if it's not very good, I'll probably still watch it.
What about you, Jen?
I'll take Drogon for this week. And that was it for pet version of chocolate or vanilla.
Lovely.
Stunning.
Right. Well, thank you,
as always,
guys.
Jen, thank you. That was great.
Thanks. I love you guys. Have an awesome week.
Bye.
I love you too.
Bye.
But not to divulge elsewhere so harshly, but this, in my opinion, was the first Netflix original movie that I had seen that I truly enjoyed. To be fair, I have not ever seen Beasts of No Nation, which came out in 2015. I don't know if you've seen that one. I think it has Idris Elba, and everyone really regards that very highly as like one of Netflix's best. I haven't seen it, so I can't really speak on it. But I think this is Netflix's first good, in my what I had ever seen, first good original film, and arguably, like, maybe to this day, their best and only really, like, there's not a ton, in my opinion, because, like, okay, so, like, To All the Boys I've Loved Before is, like, fine, like, good for, like, that genre to me, like, definitely successful and served its purpose. I will give a shout out to that. I thought The Ballad of Buster Scruggs was, like, pretty okay. Good Coen Brothers.
That was a Netflix original?
Yep, a little too long in my opinion, but, like, overall, still pretty good. I enjoyed it. Good film. Roma was also fine. It's, like, a little Oscar baity, whatever, but, like, I liked it, but I didn't love it or anything. Bird Box, I also, like, a lot of buzz around it, definitely caused a big stir. That one was, like, pretty good. Pieces of a Woman, okay. You know, like, a really great performance from Vanessa Kirby. Is that her name?
Oh, yeah, I did really like that. I thought that was a great movie, honestly.
I thought that was, like, a good performance in a fine movie to me.
Yeah.
Like, I would never rewatch it, really, because, like, it was just fine, but, like, watching it, I was like, wow, she's really great. And then Tick, Tick, Boom was fine. And those are the only other ones I can think of that, like, hold any place for me, because Marriage Story, trash. Don't Look Up, trash. The Irishman, trash. Mank, trash. Like, there's so many, and those are all the ones that, like, have even got credit or whatever.
The
I just
Power
know
of the
a lot
Dog was a Netflix original.
Oh, really? Okay, that one was fine. That was
I'll give it to them. But, like, also, like, King was that Timothy Chalamet.
Didn't love it. Didn't love it.
Trial of the Chicago 7 was, like, pretty good.
That would actually... I would maybe rank that second then. If we're listing Netflix movies, I would put that above anything I just said. But I think so many of them are so bad, and I think that this really draws to like a larger conversation about Netflix's problem right now, because
it's garbage.
They recently have had their first loss of subscribers in over a decade. And it was a huge thing that their stock went down a lot, and that they like basically I think it was like 200,000 subscribers were lost, and they credited it to the pandemic and just socioeconomic things, and also they said that they were going to start cracking down on password sharing. Was basically their excuse of like oh well, we're not making money because everyone shares their password, and if you have a family plan with 5 people on it, you're only getting paid once, basically. But to me, and they're saying they're going to start doing cheaper ad-supported models, which I think is just like
We're going back to cable. Right. It's
like,
shit garbage.
Everyone who's like a cord cutter, like I don't pay for cable. I'm a cord cutter. I only have streaming subscriptions. But at this point, there are so many of them. It's far more than cable costs. And since it's the thing to do, every network is making their own. Like now there's like Paramount Plus.
Exactly.
And there's,
why am I'm paying for Discovery Plus. Why am I paying for Discovery Plus?
Yeah. No, it's becoming an issue of like every network is getting their own streaming service, so they reclaim all of their content. And especially in the case of Netflix, I think as originally they were kind of maybe the first to do it, and they had such a wide variety. Whereas it's like now really popular shows like The Office or Friends or whatever, they don't have any of those.
It's back on the fucking network that it originally showed on.
Yeah, exactly. So Netflix no longer has all of those like big fan favorite shows, so they're like, oh, we have to make our own content. And I think it's really a flash in a pan. I think really only one out of every 30 of their shows is any good. Like, there's something every few years that really gets people's attention, like Bridgerton. Like just recently, I think that's the most recent one. Like Russian Doll.
Squid Game.
Right. There are good Netflix originals. I'm not denying that. But
Netflix original movies, though, I feel like it's a very, very different ground, like playing field and all that shit. Like I think they've always struggled with movies, if you ask me. I feel like even like I remember like way back when like Netflix like started popping off and everything like that, and being told like, yeah, the movie selection, like not even like their own original movies, but like the movie selection is not that good, but the shows are great.
Yeah.
And everything like that, which I think still holds up, like, especially with all of their original stuff. The movies, like you said, we already went over it. There's, like, maybe, like, 3 super notable ones that, like, we can enjoy. But, like, obviously, like, there's been handfuls and handfuls of, like, Netflix original shows that are, like, just absolutely, like, chart toppers and all that shit.
And I just think HBO Max is coming for them.
Oh, yeah.
HBO is coming for Netflix as far as they've had consistent competition with other things like Amazon and Hulu and whatever. But I really think with the original content, especially, I think HBO is coming for these hoes.
Well, and HBO has a back catalog of like so many incredible shows. Like I've been like, I've actually been watching like so much Sex in the City lately, which like is like I think is like so out of like my box and everything like that. But I'm like HBO has been churning this shit out since
the 90s.
Since the 90s. Like
everything they've ever made is original content.
Exactly.
And that was that's just like I don't know.
Like Netflix was super good like in its like early era. Like think like Orange is the New Black era sort of shit. Like that sort of TV. Like great, outstanding. They had it all, and now it's just like okay. Movies they never had, straight up. But, like now HBO's got all the movies. And it's not even, like, they're not even pumping out their own movies. They just get, like, the Batman.
But I always remember, there was, like, I don't even know what year it was. But when the first season of Stranger Things came out, at the same, because that's a Netflix original.
Yeah.
And at the same time, The Get Down, the first season of The Get Down.
Stop!
And you and I were the only two fucking people who watched that show on Netflix. And we were like, everyone's out here talking about Stranger Things, but who the fuck is out here talking about The Get Down? No one. And it was just you and me.
We're the only, I swear to God, we're the only reason that it got a second season.
Yeah. So true.
And that was it. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, fuck Stranger Things. I'm so over that shit. Like, that's the only thing, like, that show, the budget for a single episode is more than, like, entire seasons of shows have.
Yeah.
And, like, here's my thing is, like, they're just pumping out the exact same thing over and over.
The same storyline.
It's the same storyline. I think
I'm over it. And these kids are old.
I'm probably not gonna fucking watch it. Like, is this the last season? Because, like, I know they're promoting the, like, 4th season now. It is the 4th, right? I can't keep fucking track, because it's all the same.
I honestly, I think they are saying it's the last, but, like, who's to really...
Well, they're just gonna milk it. Like, these, yeah, like you said, these kids are old. I think Finn Wolfhard is, like, maybe, like, 2 years younger
20.
than us.
Yeah, he's, like, literally 20 and playing a fucking child.
15-year-old.
They're not making them age in the show at the rate in which they're rapidly aging in real life, and it's, like, just so weird. The way they make that poor boy get a bowl cut every year. What's his name? Noah Schnapp. They're making that poor boy get the most jank-ass bowl cut and telling him to, like, hunch down so nobody can tell that you're 6'3". Like...
Oh my God, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And it's still gonna, like, that's the only thing they have right now, is Stranger Things. What happens next? Like, come on. But anyway,
I just think they need to just reevaluate the quality of their original content as a whole, because if all Netflix is going to be providing us subscribers is original content, then not just 1 in every 10 shows can be good. Every show has to be good. You know? And some of them are, but just not consistently that I'm going to pay $20 a month for it, you know? So, I don't know. We'll just have to see where it goes, but... I think especially, movie-wise, absolute garbage. But I guess this, when it premiered at, what is it called, Cannes, everyone booed when the Netflix sign came up, which is so funny, because this is 2017, and to think how many Netflix movies have been nominated for Oscars and are now, like, highly regarded, I'm sure nobody would even bat an eye at the Netflix symbol in front of a movie. Like, literally an Amazon movie... Or an Apple Plus movie literally won Best Picture this year. Like, the fact that when this premiered at Cannes and it got booed, that, like, for, like, being, like, a, you know, a platform original, like, sponsored movie, I don't know, it's just really funny to me, like, where we've gone since then, because everything is all
I'd boo
about
it now,
platforms
so.
Now. But do we want to get into our regularly scheduled program?
Of course. What do we want to start with? Fuck, marry, kill? I feel like we usually do.
Yeah, so I feel like the 3 are Lucy Mirando, Paul Dano as Jay, and Jake Gyllenhaal as, what's his name?
Yes.
Fucking Dr. Magic. Dr. Music. Mr. Music.
This is really difficult. Because, like, I can't do anything but kill Lucy. She makes me want to, like, scrub myself with acid, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just, like, wash my skin off. So, like, I guess I have to fuck Jake Gyllenhaal, but even in that, like, this is the one that I'm, like, it's really pushing it. I could fuck Mr. Music. I don't know if I could do this. Can I be, like, shit-faced?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, you're gonna be shit-faced together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he gonna be able to get it up?
He's on so many uppers. Yeah, he's good to go.
Okay, alright. Alright. Great. So, like, I guess I'll fuck him, and then I'm marrying Jay. Of course. Yeah. I don't think there's any other option, really.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do have to agree with you. I do have to kill Lucy Mirando, because I do just think it's the, like, socially responsible thing to do. Jake Gyllenhaal in those little khaki shorts, I want him to crush my head like a watermelon between his thighs. Like, he is, that voice, I hate his character, I hate everything about him, I hate it, but hot. He's just hot.
Something about the mustache.
That man is sexy, and I won't apologize for it. And yeah, I'm obviously gonna marry Jay, because I'm not gonna fucking marry Mr. Music. That shit is gonna get old real fast.
Yeah. Lucy Mirando seems like the horse girl that made you read War Horse.
War Horse.
Yeah.
just like personally inflicting trauma on me for no. But honestly, I'd take her over her sister. Because I'd rather take like at least I'm gonna disguise my corporate evil as something good over someone who's like, I'm just flat out gonna be evil and not apologize for it, you know?
I don't think I would. I think if you're gonna like there's like a degree of self-awareness, I guess, that comes with what's the other one's name? Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy.
Like, at least, like, Nancy is self-aware and, like, can, like, sort of think for herself. Like, Lucy is sitting there and, like, being fed, like, what she wants by, oh god, what's his name?
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes.
I don't know his character's name, but I just know he's Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad. So,
like, at least, like, I guess it's, like, at least, like, Nancy, like, kind of, like, knows who she is. And I guess, like, I think, like I said, like, kind of owns it. Which, like, is shit because you're a corporate bastard. And just, like, being like, oh, yeah, kill all of them. All of the animals. Like, just send them into production. I don't want to say I could, like, respect isn't the right word, but I'm like, I don't know. It's like hard.
Yeah, the self-awareness is more admirable than, like, the ruse of being, like, fake
like,
about
I'm
it,
doing,
yeah.
I'm doing so good. Like, I'm telling all these people these are non-GMO and blah, 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 blah. And, like, creating, like, such a whole big, like, huff about the whole thing.
And then from the whole movie, do you have any thoughts about that? Because I think I want to fuck the bus driver. I just like his attitude. Or, like, the car driver. I just like his attitude. He's like, fuck it, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And he's pretty hot, too. So I'm, like, down for that. I'm gonna marry Mija's grandfather as sort of, like, he's gonna die. He's gonna die, like, probably pretty soon. I'm gonna get to inherit that farm, but also I want to be me just, like, cool, like, much younger, like, step grandma, but I'm, like, more of an older sister figure, and we, like, hang out. Like, I just want to be in on that, like, Okja woods foraging life. It seems pretty nice. And then who would I kill out of everyone in this movie? There's so many people I want to fucking murder. I guess I'll probably murder Nancy in hopes of that, like, turning things around for, I mean, you know, corporate greed will be corporate greed. Killing one person won't change a whole system, but that woman definitely deserves to die, so I'll kill her out of hopes of, like, her sister already fucked up so bad that she will never recover, whereas, like, the end of the movie is still very ominously... Did you watch the post-credit scene?
I didn't know there was a post-credit scene.
So I actually never knew either, and then I was looking on Letterboxd at people's reviews, and they were like, I do not regard the post-credit scene. I was like, oh my god. So I was like, I have to stay. So there's a post-credit scene of Paul Dano's character getting out of jail. And he gets out of jail, and he's wearing this horrible fake beard. And he gets picked up by Steven Yeun's character, and they all get on a bus together, where all the other ALF people, including the bus driver now, or the truck driver kid, they're all there on this bus, picking Paul Dano up from getting released from prison. They all, like, discuss about how they're going to go crash this, like, board meeting of the Miranda Corporation. They all put on ski masks. So it's very, like, it's kind of dumb, and it doesn't really need to be there for any reason other than just, I think Netflix was like, let's put this little tidbit in here. If this movie does wildly well, we can perhaps make, like, a spin-off show, or, you know, it's just like some stupid, like, you know, let's add this just in case we want to do something with it kind of moment. That's how it really read to me as. But, yeah, totally unnecessary and, like, doesn't add anything to the story whatsoever, but it's there.
So out of the whole movie, I think I'm gonna kill... Yeah, I guess Nancy is, like, the person to kill. You know what I mean? Because she is...
But also, maybe Giancarlo Esposito is the person to kill, because he's, like, kind of
the stepping stone.
He's
like, the one that's, like, lifting them up, sort of thing. Like,
he's kind of the mastermind.
Yeah.
There's a really great scene where, is her name Lucy?
Yeah.
She is, like, freaking out about what
and he, like, makes coffee, and she's like, Lucy, weren't you just about to say?
Yes, he, like, feeds her an idea so brilliantly in the way that I'm so sure.
Well, that's, like, that
is so true in corporate culture. Like,
that was, like, the thing that I was like, okay, she's not thinking, she can't fucking think for herself, sort of thing.
Yeah.
She's gonna freak out and, like, not do, like, anything.
So, yeah, he might be the backbone of this whole...
Actually, that makes me... Okay,
so I'm
gonna kill him. You're right. I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna fuck Steven Yeun. Just because I want to fuck him.
Yep.
And I'm gonna marry. I don't know her name in the movie. I feel like it was like a color or something like that. But I'm gonna marry Lily Collins because I think that morally she seems the most aligned, like correctly out of the ALF and all that shit.
Yeah. So her name was Red, and I do have, like, one of my criticisms for this movie is the inconsistency of the ALF names. So her name is Red because her hair is red. There's a blonde guy, and his name is Blonde. And then Roderick's name is Silver because his hair is dyed silver. So there's Red, Blonde, and Silver. But then Paul Dano's name is Jay, Jay, but, like, the letter J, right? Like J. And then Steven Yeun's is K. So we have J and K, who are singular lettered names, arguably, and then Blonde, Red, and Silver.
Yeah.
Like, either do everyone by their hair color, which, like, kind of doesn't really work, or just everybody's a letter. Just make everyone a letter. Right? Like, that just makes it be like JKLMNOP, right? Like, do something, right? I don't...
Like, it's giving, like, it's giving half-assed Reservoir Dogs, like...
Yeah, right. I just, like, didn't really understand where that...
Well, which I think...
it was, like, half...
Well, I think is, like, what, like, Bong Joon-ho, like, obviously intended.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's not, like, like, the crazy unified, like, group that, like, they think they all are, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, maybe it is on purpose and it's on purpose pissing me off. That's probably way more likely. But I was just like, what? You can't even... Why are y'all calling each other by your hair colors, but it's, like, not consistent? Whack.
But what would you eat and drink with this?
I feel like it's, like, fucked up for me to say that you should eat, like, a hot dog.
Yeah, probably.
Like a Slim Jim, like you should eat some sort of, like, fucked up meat product during this movie. Like, that's...
Yeah, like, I'm just gonna feel, like, really horrible about myself after that. Because I said a veggie platter.
Yeah, right, like, so basically... I was like, you could be fucked up and eat a hot dog, but, like, it would... As, like, in post, I'm like, haha, that's so funny, but, like, in the moment, I'm sure I'd be like, this is just... Like, I can't...
I hate myself.
Like this.
Yeah.
And honestly, so, like, PETA went on a fucking rampage. PETA absolutely loved this movie.
I'm sure.
When I googled Okja PETA, the entire 2 first pages of Google were all PETA articles about, like, how to have an Okja-themed vegan party, a vegan starter pack for fans of Okja, like, all Okja content. PETA fucking ate this shit up, and I just, like, for anyone who doesn't know, I think everyone's kind of aware that PETA is fucked, but if you don't know that PETA is absolutely fucked, they're this, obviously, like, animal rights organization, and they run the largest kill shelter in America. PETA kills 70% of the cats and dogs that come into their care, so PETA is fucking hypocritical, they're nasty, they're fucked up. So that's, if you don't know that, now you do. Everything PETA does is just absolutely disgusting to me. But they loved this movie and they produced so much, like, for Okja fans, here's how to be a vegan, like, type, I don't know, content is fucked up. But basically the only thing I could really think of is to do, like, a Korean style, like, Korean barbecue, but, like, Korean barbecue vegan tacos. So you do, like, a sesame encrusted fried tofu with kimchi in a little taco, like a Korean barbecue taco is, I think that could be nice. And to keep it vegan, you know, to keep it, because if you want to do an all above meat free meal for this movie, that is very on theme, very understandable. But the filmmakers did say that their intention of this movie was not to turn anyone vegetarian or vegan and not to, like, I don't know, demonize people who eat meat, that it was just to, like, point out this thing that is just a fact, which I think is really true. Like, both filmmakers were like, oh yeah, like, after making this movie, I was vegan for, like, all of 6 weeks and then just, like, returned back to my normal life, which is, like, I don't know, being vegan is a choice and it shouldn't be forced on you by a movie or whatever, but no ethical consumption under capitalism, am I right, ladies?
Yeah. But yeah, no, definitely sort of, like, going the more, like, vegan, vegetarian route. Like, I'd say, like, I'm just a little whore for, like, something to, like, munch on, like, during a movie, like, not a whole meal.
A little carrot, stick some ranch.
No, like, literally, like, do the veggie platter thing. Like, today I had, like, a nice little, like, falafel plate, like, with dinner and all that shit.
Ooh. You love tzatziki.
I do. I'm a big fan. I do
You love a savory yogurt.
I make my own. Yeah. This is a quick side tangent to anyone that has any savory yogurt recommendations other than tzatziki. You were the only person, Dara, that even acknowledged my tweet about this. But I think that the savory yogurt market is lacking other than tzatziki, so.
If you want to start a savory yogurt cup company with me, like lunch yogurts,
Please.
like yogurts that are like, we can do it together, because I think that's
because here's my thing is, I don't like sweet breakfasts. It's a lot for me. Like, I begrudgingly eat, like, a blueberry yogurt cup every day because I'm like, okay, I need to put something in my body before I go to work. But I don't like it. I'd rather eat eggs, but it takes too long because I sleep in too late to make an actual breakfast for myself.
If any listeners of the pod happen to work at like Kellogg's or
who's that Chobani?
Yoplait, Chobani, if any Chobani employees want to hit us up about our savory yogurt ideas, honestly, I have the branding, the marketing, the flavor ideas. We've got it all over here. So
we've got our own. We've got our own chef. Let's get Henry on the fucking.
But so my idea for a cocktail.
Yes, I've got a good one. I want to hear yours.
Oh, okay. So mine was all through like that like opening sequence that I was saying that I love so much when her and Okja, and then I think she does it again at the end. She is always feeding Okja persimmons.
I didn't know what it was. It looks like a pepper, but I don't know what.
It looks. Yeah, they look kind of like little
I feel like
bell
I've
peppers
seen
or, like, kind of like
persimmons on like TikTok recently, and no one knows how to eat them right.
Yeah, they kind of look like a tomatillo or something almost. I've never had one. I don't really know what they taste like, but I know they pair really well with like cinnamon and like nutmeggy flavors. So like if you were to do like a whiskey drink with one of them, but I would just say that just in general that as we head into these summer months, if you are of legal drinking age, or I guess anyone can make a simple syrup if you want to just put it in like seltzer water or whatever. I love making my own simple syrups. I think it's really the key to a really good cocktail is you just boil equal parts sugar and water, and then you add whatever flavoring you want to it. So I've done it with mint, basil, ginger, any combination there of citrus, obviously like lime juice, any kind of personalized simple syrup. Like I'll do like a ginger lemon or ginger lime a lot. But I think you can make a persimmon simple syrup. So any fruit too that you want to add. So just making a simple syrup with fruit that you just put it in like a mason jar and store it in your fridge, and then you add a little bit to your cocktail. Really, really good addition. Mint is super easy to make as well. To do like I do Moscow mules and I make mint simple syrup.
Hot.
It's like a whole. Yeah, you can do blueberry. Just I don't know, making your own simple syrups. It's super cheap, super easy, and it really like is a huge benefit to your cocktail. So I think if you make a persimmon simple syrup, you could do something as simple as just like vodka and seltzer water with your syrup, or you can get as fancy as like putting it in with whiskey and cinnamon or whatever you want. But that was my like a persimmon cinnamon simple syrup could be really.
See, I like that you went this route because I also sort of went this route of like infusing something. This movie gave me like sort of like big tea vibes and everything like that. So I think, and I've had like a friend or two like come up to me and be like, try this. And it's hibiscus infused tequila, basically, or like you basically make like a hibiscus margarita and everything like that. And it is so insanely delicious. I just think it's, and like you said, like talking like summer drinks, great summer drink. Yeah. Super floral and fruity and everything like that. I just think it's a really, really good choice generally. Even
I've never heard of that. It sounds great. I know it's like the hibiscus berry refresher from Starbucks is pretty fire. So I'm thinking of like that, but like boozy, and that sounds really good. So
divine. Like the sort of thing where like someone's come up to me with a cocktail and I'm like, I couldn't even tell you that this is alcoholic.
And then what would you follow this up with? I know Jen already exposed me for Babe 2 Big Pig in the City earlier. That I said that. And then obviously I think that. Yeah, it's sack lunch bunch.
It's like hardly. It's not even like a leap, and it's hardly even a step. It's like a shimmy.
It's like a sneeze. It's a cough. Yeah. It's a little lurch forward, and then you're there. I also think either Jung Boon-ho movies. Have you seen Snowpiercer?
No.
I love Snowpiercer. I know it's a TV show now, which I haven't seen, which I definitely will watch probably at some point. But if anybody out there has watched the show and wants to either like recommend or discourage me from watching it, please let me know what you think of it. But I love the movie. And also Parasite, obviously, any of these after this, it's just like so much. He switches it up so hard every time, yet consistently the same.
Like it's still, like, still him.
Yeah, the same voice, but like new, really wildly new content, which I love. Any movie with someone as a twin of themselves. My only Letterboxd playlist is people who play twins of themselves in movies. And then my last one, which I think is my strongest one, E.T.
Explain yourself.
I think E.T. is really similar to Okja in the way of like a person's connection, like a young person's connection with this sort of creature, and the government is trying to take that creature away to do science on them, and they are trying to get them back because it's not something to be experimented on, it has life and value. And I don't know, it was just giving me E.T. vibes of like when she's trying to like basically rip Okja away from the Miranda Corporation. That was like me, like Elliot trying to take E.T. away from the scientist vibes to me. I was just like, this is very much like and then obviously Charlotte's Web. It's a retelling of Charlotte's Web. It's that would be the most obvious one, but I think maybe a more genre aligned one would be.
I think that's a really good choice.
Thank you.
Fun fact: I've never actually seen like all of E.T. Sort of in the same vein, you were talking about how watch any movie where anyone plays a twin of themselves, and since it is Paul Mano. If you want to stay aligned with our theme, and also just run it with a fucking haul of a movie and just a great film in general, you can just watch There Will Be Blood. It's not like a super prominent twin role, but it is also like one of like as much as I do love Paul Dano in this movie, he is outstanding in There Will Be Blood, and it's a lot to watch. It's a long movie, but it also like it's Daniel Day-Lewis. It's brilliant. It's one of my favorite scores ever. I think you could definitely just run it with that because it like if you're not looking for that movie that's like sort of like very similar to Okja, do the jump.
Oh yeah, be a nice little
do the
pivot,
jump and do There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, continue Paul Mano and just consume another really great piece of Paul Dano based.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, for sure. You got to be in a very specific mood for sure.
Yeah.
But when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. Like a nice, like, yes, I'm going to settle in for this one, for sure. And then what would you rate this out of 10?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7.8. I can't give it the full 8. It's, I don't know. I think there was just enough of it that was like a little hard to watch, and it felt like I kind of get whiplash watching this movie.
It's a little, it's a lot, and it's a little hokey at times. It's like now it's serious, now it's hokey, now it's serious. So you're like,
I really do like it. Honestly, I could probably bump it up to like the 8, 7.8, just an 8. I'll give her an 8. Like it's and like the. I mean, I talked about it early on. I really like the Ghibli feel of it. But yeah, it does get to be, it's a lot of like highs and lows throughout the movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9. This movie just really does something for me. And just like, I think like a really interesting first watch ever. I loved knowing absolutely nothing and then just being whipped around by this movie. And I still kind of get like reverberations of that every time after I watch it. I'm like, oh, I can't believe I just like didn't even know. But yeah, this movie, it just really tickles me. It warms my heart. It makes me cry. Like my cat sat in my lap and I fucking cried.
Oh yeah, I bawled my little eyes out when they pushed the freaking baby out into Okja's mouth. Oh, I started weeping.
I don't know. Even though I can like recognize it for its flaws, maybe not flaws, but just like, you know, where it could be stronger or like performances that are a little silly or whatever. I feel like everything is so intentional with this movie, and it makes me feel really intelligent as a viewer.
Yes.
Because I'm like, I love that Bong Joon-ho does that with all of his movies, is that you feel smart because you get it, but also it's something like much greater and you get to put the pieces together as it unfolds. And with every movie, it's just like really brilliant storytelling. And some of my favorite, all of his movies that I've seen are some of my favorite I've ever seen. And I look forward to, obviously, you know, everything he does in the future. And there's just great performances, great cast. So I can't speak highly enough of this movie. I tell everyone to watch it. It's definitely top 10 S tier, one of my faves of all time. Yeah, so thank you all. For anyone who's watching on YouTube, we've fucked up with recording, so we'll try to get that back up next week. Sorry, we don't make any money from this podcast, believe it or not. You know, oh wow, we're so wildly successful, yet not a dollar to be made. So we don't really have like equipment or anything, but so we'll try next week, you know, because that's how it is. And to anyone listening, or just, you know, all of you, thank you so much always for sending in your great ideas, suggestions. Every movie you send to us, I write down on a list because I love getting viewer suggestions, especially when it's something I've never heard of. I love going watching the trailers. I don't know, just new movies. That's my favorite thing. So, and themes, chocolate or vanilla themes, month themes, anything you want us to cover. Your questions, comments, literally, you are all so sweet. I'm not gonna say I tear up, but like I literally do sometimes. Like somebody said the other day, they're like, yeah, my roommate and I, like, now whenever we watch movies together, we do the like, who would you fuck, marry, kill? What would you eat and drink after? And I like literally was like, I need to go take a walk because I'm emotional. So just, I really appreciate anyone who listens to this podcast. We love you so much and we love to hear from you. Even if you just want to DM me and say hi, I will say hi back and it will make my day. And so, yeah, as always, this is Paul Mano. We will be continuing next week with more Paul Dano movie content. And we appreciate you all deeply and dearly. And goodbye and good night.